ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀਓ। ਧਨਾਸਰੀ ਮਹੱਲਾ ਪੰਜਵਾਂ, ਘਰ ਛੇਵਾਂ, ਅਸ਼ਟਪਦੀ। ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ। ਜੋ ਜੋ ਜੂਨੀ ਆਇਓ ਤਹਿ ਤਹਿ ਉਰਝਾਇਓ। ਮਾਨਸ ਜਨਮ ਸੰਜੋਗ ਪਾਇਆ। ਤਾਕੀ ਹੈ ਓਟ ਸਾਧ ਰੱਖੋ। ਦੇ ਕਰ ਹਾਥ ਕਰ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਮਿਲੋ ਹਰ ਰਾਇਆ। ਅਨੇਕ ਜਨਮ ਭ੍ਰਮ ਥਿਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਾਏ। ਕਰੋ ਸੇਵਾ ਗੁਰ ਲਾਗੋ ਚਰਨ। ਗੋਵਿੰਦ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਮਾਰਗ ਦੇਹੋ ਜੀ ਬਤਾਈ ਰਹਾਓ। ਅਨੇਕ ਉਪਾਵ ਕਰੋ ਮਾਇਆ ਕੋ। ਬਜਿਤ ਧਰੋ ਮੇਰੀ ਮੇਰੀ ਕਰਤ ਸਦ ਹੀ ਵਿਹਾਵੈ। ਕੋਈ ਐਸੋ ਰੇ ਭੇਟੈ ਸੰਤ ਮੇਰੀ। ਲਾਹੇ ਸਗਲ ਚਿੰਤ ਠਾਕਰ ਸਿਓ ਮੇਰਾ ਰੰਗ ਲਾਵੈ। ਪੜੇ ਰੇ ਸਗਲ ਬੇਦ ਨਹਿ ਚੂਕੈ ਮਨ ਭੇਦ। ਇਕ ਖਿਨ ਨਾ ਧੀਰ ਹੈ ਮੇਰੇ ਘਰ ਕੇ ਪੰਚਾ। ਕੋਈ ਐਸੋ ਰੇ ਭਗਤ ਜੋ ਮਾਇਆ ਤੇ ਰਹਿਤ। ਇੱਕ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਨਾਮ ਮੇਰਾ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਸਿੰਚਾ। ਜੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਤੀਰਥ ਨਹਾਏ ਅਹੰ ਬੁੱਧ ਮੈਲ ਲਾਏ। ਘਰ ਕੋ ਠਾਕੁਰ ਇੱਕ ਤਿਲ ਨਾ ਮਾਨੈ। ਕਦ ਪਾਵੂੰ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗ ਹਰ ਹਰ ਸਦਾ ਆਨੰਦ। ਗਿਆਨ ਅੰਜਨ ਮੇਰਾ ਮਨ ਇਸ਼ਨਾਨੈ। ਸਗਲ ਅਸਰਮ ਕੀਨੇ ਮਨੁਆ ਨਹਿ ਪਤੀਨੇ। ਵਿਵੇਕਹੀਨ ਦੇਹੀ ਧੋਏ। ਕੋਈ ਪਾਈਐ ਰੇ ਪੁਰਖ ਵਿਧਾਤਾ। ਪਾਰ ਬ੍ਰਹਮ ਕੈ ਰੰਗ ਰਾਤਾ। ਮੇਰੇ ਮਨ ਕੀ ਦੁਰਮਤ ਮਲ ਖੋਏ। ਕਰਮ ਧਰਮ ਜੁਗਤਾ ਨਿਮਖ ਨਾ ਹੇਤ ਕਰਤਾ। ਗਰਭ ਗਰਭ ਪੜੇ ਕਹੀ ਨਾ ਲੇਖੈ। ਜਿਸ ਭੇਟੀਐ ਸਫਲ ਮੂਰਤ। ਕਰੇ ਸਦਾ ਕੀਰਤ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਕਉ ਨੇਤਰੋ ਪੇਖੈ। ਮਨ ਹਠ ਜੋ ਕਮਾਵੇ ਤਿਲ ਨਾ ਲੇਖੇ ਪਾਵੈ। ਬਗੁਲ ਜੋ ਧਿਆਨ ਲਾਵੇ ਮਾਇਆ ਰੇ ਧਾਰੀ। ਕੋਈ ਐਸੋ ਰੇ ਸੁਖ ਹਿਦਾਈ। ਪ੍ਰਭ ਕੀ ਕਥਾ ਸੁਨਾਈ ਤਿਸ ਭੇਟੇ ਗਤ ਹੋਏ ਹਮਾਰੇ। ਸੋ ਪ੍ਰਸੰਨ ਗੋਪਾਲ ਰਾਏ। ਸੋ ਪ੍ਰਸੰਨ ਗੋਪਾਲ ਰਾਏ। ਕਾਟੇ ਰੇ ਬੰਧਨ ਮਾਏ। ਗੁਰ ਕੇ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਮੇਰਾ ਮਨ ਰਾਤਾ। ਸਦਾ ਸਦਾ ਆਨੰਦ ਭੇਟਿਓ ਨਿਰਭੈ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ। ਸੁਖ ਨਾਨਕ ਲਾਦੇ ਹਰ ਚਰਨ ਪਰਾਤਾ। ਸਫਲ ਸਫਲ ਭਈ ਸਫਲ ਯਾਤਰਾ। ਆਵਣ ਜਾਣ ਰਹੇ ਮਿਲੇ ਸਾਦਾ। ਸਫਲ ਸਫਲ ਭਈ ਸਫਲ ਯਾਤਰਾ। ਆਵਣ ਜਾਣ ਰਹੇ ਮਿਲੇ ਸਾਦਾ। ਰਹਾਉ ਦੂਜਾ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, today Sri Darbar Sahib Hukamnama Sahib starts on Ang 686 going on to Ang 687. It's in Tanasri Rag by ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ Sri Guru Arjun Dev Ji Garib Nawaz Sache Padshah. Sangat ji, starting off Guru Sahib Ji Guru Arjan Dev Ji Path Ji with the Mangala Charan of Ek Onkar Satguru Prasad. So Tanasri Mahalla Panjama Kar Sheva Ashtapadi. Asht meaning 8, Padi means part. It's in 8 sections. So this, what we've just read, is called the Sirlek, which gives us the information, gives us the Rag, and then it tells us which Guru Sahiban the Bani belongs to. Ek Onkar Satguru Prasad is called the Mangala Charan. Ek Onkar Satguru Prasad, Guru Arjan Dev Ji Path Ji Maharaj Ji is saying to us to obtain, to realize that one, that we have all come from, whilst we're living within the Oong, within the creation, to find that, to be centered and balanced, to be a part of that Kar, which is Lagatar, to become constant, to reach Sahaj Avastha. Pacha ji saying it can only be done prasad with the grace of Satguru, with the true Guru. Sadguru ji, Guru Arjan Dev ji, Pacha ji, they start and they say, Jo Jo Juni Ayo. This is whoever has come into this Juni, whoever has come into this life form. Kande Jo Jo Juni Ayo, Tehe Tehe Urjayo. They're saying Tehe Tehe, those, each and every one of them, Urjayo. Urjayo, meaning they have got entangled. So remember, Sangat ji, when Guru Sahib ji saying this, that everyone tehte urjayo, ke sare uho, they become entangled, ida matlab, it doesn't literally mean every single human being that has come into this world. It's not talking about those Gurmukh Pyare, those Mahapurkhs, those Jannat that have escaped that birth and death cycle and that have realized the game of this life. It's saying that it's talking about majority of us. Majority of us are actually entangled. We come into this world, we are blessed with this life form, but Sangat ji, where urjaya, we get entangled. And what does it mean that we get entangled? Satguru ji Paat saying Manas Janam Sanjog Paya, that we've met, Sanjog means to meet, Manas Janam, with this human form, Sanjog Paya, we've obtained it. We're so fortunate to obtain this life form. Sadhguru ji Pacha ji will tell us later on how that only with doing good deeds in our last life, we're able to actually obtain this life. And to understand that a little bit more, what does it mean to become entangled, Sangat ji? There's one thing coming into this life and enjoying this life. There's one thing, remember, we're here within this world, we've been given this life, and we're not trying to run away from it. We're here to enjoy the creation of Waheguru Ji. We're here to actually feel that breeze, to enjoy that sun. We're here to enjoy the pleasure of even food. We're not here, it's not about running away from it, but what happens is we become so entangled to our relations, to our own, to our parents, to our children. We become so attached and entangled and attached to these things that we actually, this house that we live in, the car that we drive, every little thing that we, instead of enjoying it and realizing and living in that acceptance that one day I'm going to leave all of this, but I've been blessed with this life from Waheguru Ji for now, but what happens is we get entangled, meaning we don't want to let go of it. And Sangat ji, it's like that sticky, like when something sticks onto something, if we've got a sticky tape and then trying to rip it off, it's painful. So what happens is whatever we've got, we want to hold on to, and we start to say, Ida Miraya, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine. Sangat ji, obviously there's one thing where we've got to be sensible and we've got to realize that Sache Pacha ji has blessed us with this beautiful human form. So we're going to try and look after it and cherish it, and to the best of our ability. But Sangat ji, but what happens is when we start living in fear and start thinking this body is mine, remember, how can it be mine when I haven't got control over it? Meaning, there's one thing I can say, that at this moment I've been blessed with this body, so it's mine in that sense for this moment. But if I think that I've got right over it, meaning that I've got control over when that it's here for permanent and I can control when it comes and goes, Sangat, then we're going to be in trouble. We've got to remember that there's always somebody greater and more powerful that is in control, that Shakti of Kakal Purkh Waheguru Ji. So, Sangat ji, most of us, we come into this human form that is so difficult to obtain, but we get entangled in this actual life itself and not realizing why it's actually been given to me. Sadhguru ji, Guru Arjan Dev ji Pachi, they say, Taki hai ot sad rakh ho. They're saying that's why, because I get I get all entangled within this world, within the possessions that I have, within the relations that I have. Saying for that reason, what I do is then, Taki ha ot sad rakho, that save me, and I take the sangat and I take the asra, the support of a sadhu, meaning I take the support of my guru. Rakho de kar haath, that give me your hand and save me from becoming entangled. Hey Guru Sahib Ji, kar haath kar kirpa melo ho har raya, and bless me with this, Sadhguru Ji Pachi Ji, that I'm able to melo ho haraya, that I'm able to meet the true king. The true king meaning that Waheguru Ji, that I'm able to unite back with Waheguru Ji. Anek janam param thit nahi pai, that so many life forms, so many lifetimes, I've actually anek janam, countless lifetimes, param, that I've been wandering around, lost in doubt, thit nahi pai, I've not reached that stability. I've not been stable in my mind. I'm still running around. I'm trying to obtain this happiness from this, from that, from so many different things. Karon seva guru lagon charan. But then I realized that the only place I'm going to find stability is where karon seva is by serving. Who? By karon seva guru lagon. When I attach to the charan, guru lagon charan, when I attach to the charan, when I attach to the lotus feet, when I attach to the holy feet of my Guru. Govind Ji ka marg deho ji batai, because what will my Guru do for me? The Guru will, Govind Ji ka marg, will show me the path. Deho ji batai, will show me the path and tell me about the path that leads to uniting back with Waheguru Ji, with Akal Purkh Ji. And then Sadhguru Ji Pachi, they say that how anek upav karo maya ko. This is, but this I count in countless different efforts I make. Anek upav karo maya ko. But what for? For maya, for this illusion. I put so much effort in. I put so much effort in. What for? For maya, for this illusion, for something that isn't going to even remain, that isn't even permanent. I'm doing so much to try and build the wealth that I have. I'm doing so much to try and get a bigger house, to get that particular car. I'm doing so many things for all of this. I put so much effort in for doing all of this and trying to get the best education for my children. Even if, and then sometimes it becomes a competition. It becomes a competition with other children. And then we get caught up in all of this. It's not, doesn't mean there's anything wrong in extending a house if it's needed. Not out of competition and not out of just because, we need to have the bigger house. There's nothing wrong when we're in having a nice new car. Why do we have it? It's out of convenience, so it can get us from A to B. But if we go above and beyond, then if the reasoning behind it isn't correct, that's when we start to fall. When we know we even try and we purchase something that we can't even really afford, and we take out something, we take a loan out, and then we struggle with the payments but it's for the wrong reasons. It's not for the convenience of having a car. It's because I need to have that particular car because of how fast it is, because of somebody else has got it. I need to keep up with everybody else. No, Sangaji, it's about living sensibly. Sadhguru Ji Pachi is saying, but if we do it out of that mere pleasure because we want pleasure out of it, then we're going to fall. Sadhguru Ji Pachi is saying that we make so much effort in those things that anek upav karo maya ko bichit taro, and then what we do is within this mind that we instill inside of us that maya that is so, we could translate Vijit to Vijitra as well, meaning that something that is, it seems so wondrous to us and we get caught up in it so much. And then meri kart sadhi bihave, and then every moment, how do we pass it? Bihave means to pass, sad means all the time. Meri, we're saying this is mine. Living in that phase of that avastha of thinking this is mine, we're not able to let go of things. We don't become a dani then, we don't become a giving then. Sadhguru Ji Pachi say that koi aso re peta sant meri lahe. They're saying that, is there such a sant? Sant here, Sangat Ji, is here with, it's singular with an onkar, meaning that who can I meet with as koi aso repete sant meri lahe sagal chint? Is there anyone that can take away all my anxieties? Because Sangat, the truth is, when we live that life of just trying to keep up, when we live that life just trying to enjoy and get every little moment of pleasure out of these things, and thinking that pleasure is going to be permanent, but we're saying that, is there any sant, is there anyone out there that can help me to take away, to remove all my chinta, to remove all my anxieties? Thakar syo mera rang lave, that can help me to actually fall in love with the Thakur, with Vaheguru, with my true master. Padere sagal bed neh chuke man ped. I've read so many Vedas, I've read so many things, I've accumulated so much knowledge, but neh chuke man ped, but that separation that I've got with Vaheguru still hasn't been removed, hasn't been taken away from me. Ek khinna tire mere karke pancha, that still I've khinna tire, meaning that I've still not been able to endure those 5 that are sitting inside of me, those panj chor, that calm, those burning desires. They've still managed to keep getting a grip of me. That anger, it still keeps overpowering me and taking over me, because I've not still realized what this life is actually for. Koi asore pagat jo maya te rahat. Is there anyone, is there any devotee that is actually koi asore pagat jo maya te rahat, that is actually above this illusion? Ek amrit naam mere hriday sincha, that is able to give me that naam, that the name of God that is full of nectar, that actually leads me to immortality. Mere hriday sincha, that is able to instill it within my heart. Je tere tirath naaye, that even though I went and bathed at so many different pilgrimages, but I still haven't been able to remove the ego of my mind. Kar ko thakur ek til na manne, but still, not even for that little moment, I've been able to actually have faith and accept that Thakur, that my master, is sitting right inside of me, within my own house of my heart. Kad pavon sad sang har har sada anand. When is that moment going to come for me, when I actually meet and I obtain sad sang, the true sangha, that true congregation of the holy, of those saints that help me to connect with Vaheguru? Har har sada anand, that where then I will have constant bliss, where these feelings aren't momentarily that I get from eating something nice, and it's a momentarily feeling. It's nothing wrong with enjoying the taste of food, you don't get mixed up with that, but meaning that we all know that taste doesn't, that experience, that pleasure doesn't last. So we're saying here that when is that time gonna come when I'm constantly in that anand, when I'm constantly in bliss, when it doesn't go away from me? That Gyan Anjana, that when are you going to give me the Anjan? When are you going to give me that mascara? When are you going to actually make me, decorate me with what? With the Gyan. With the Gyan, with the true realization of what I am. Mera man ishanane, that when is that time going to come when I actually bathe inside, within my mind, and wash all those and get rid of all those sins that I have done? Sagal asram kine manua nehepatine. I've made so many different efforts within life. And Sangaji, we can relate to this. Look how many things that we've done in this life. Look how many things that we thought that is going to bring us that sukh. We thought that if I get those results in my exams, I thought if I get to marry that person, I thought if I have this amount of children, if I have that gender child, if I have a house like this, if I'm able to do this. We've done all of these things, but sagal asram kinne, but what we've done all of these things, but what's happened manua nepatine, but my mind still isn't satisfied. There's nothing wrong with obtaining all of these things, but to think But to expect that my mind is going to be satisfied with all of these things, then Sangat Ji, then we're fooling ourselves. Babek heen dehi tohe. It's only when I get babek buddhi dehi tohe that my body, that my indriya, that my senses are going to be washed. Babek is saying that I'm without babek dehi tohe. How am I supposed to actually dehi tohe? How am I actually supposed to cleanse these senses when I've not got when I haven't got babek? When babek means that distinguishing intellect to be able to tell between what is the truth and what is false, Sangat Ji. And then Padsha Ji, they say that koi paiye re purkh bidata. They're saying that how is there anyone that koi paiye re that can help me to meet, to have union with purkh bidata, with Vaheguru Ji. Par Brahmak Rang Rata, that I'm able to actually be imbued and to be completely, to have that true love for Vaheguru Ji. Mere man ki durmat mal khoye, that is able to remove and take away that durmat. Durmat means that wisdom inside of me that takes me far away from the truth. Durmat is that. Karma dharma jugta nimakhna het karta. And then Path is saying that karma dharma jugta, that I practice many false practices. I do so many things under even the name of religion. So, but I do them and they're all empty from inside. And nimakhna het, but there's not even a moment of where I well up in love from inside. Het karta, garba garba pade. Kehi na lekhe. Path is saying that inside, but all that I'm reading is of no use. Why? Because I'm still full of pride from inside. So Sangaji, what happens is sometimes we read so much Bani, we read so much of Guru Sahib Ji's Bani, but sometimes we read it with no love inside, and then it becomes empty because we're reading it and we're still full of pride. We're still looking down at somebody else. And many of you may be able to relate to this, that normally it's easier for us when we relate to it, when we see from somebody else. We see somebody that is reading so much Bani, but then we feel that they look down at us. But Sangaji, that's not the way to relate to. The way to relate to this is when that starts happening to me. When I'm still in Garba, and I'm still thinking, look how much Bani I read, and look, they don't do anything. Look what time I get up in the morning. Look at what time they get up in the morning. We start to look down at somebody else, even through our religious practices, because that love for Vaheguru Ji, that love for all of humanity did not well up inside of me, and then all my practices, even they became empty. Bacha Ji, I know that sometimes we get afraid of actually saying this, because when it comes to Gurbani, because we don't want to break anyone from reading Gurbani. It doesn't mean to break away from reading Gurbani. It means to fill ourselves with love from inside when we read Gurbani, Sangat Jiyo. And then Pacha Ji, then they say that Jis petiye safal murat kare. They're saying that Jis petiye, by uniting, but by meeting with that. Jis petiye means to meet. Jis petiye safal murat kare, that they're able to bring safalta to me, that they're able to help me to bring success within my life. And what is true success? Kare sada kirat gur prasad ko netro pekha, that I'm constantly able to, with these eyes, I'm able to see, go what? That kirat, that I'm constantly then immersed in praising Vaheguru Ji. Man hat jo kamave, those that actually try and earn something with stubborn-mindedness. Tinala lekhe pave, but even for a little, not even a little til, not even a little sesame seeds, is that going to come of any worth to you when you're trying to do something out of stubborn-mindedness? Bagal jyotyan lave, just like that crane bird that sits there fooling the world, that they are meditating, but inside their mind is still all over the place, and they're just being stubborn with themselves and making themselves sit there, and there's a fight going on inside of their mind. They're not actually welling up with love and connecting to Vaheguru Ji Maya re tari, but instead They are still stuck within the illusion, still within their mind. They're still constantly stuck in that anxiety and worry about, this is my body, I don't want to lose this body, oh, this is mine, this child is mine. Stuck in thinking, being possessive. Koi aso re sukhe dai. Bhai saying, is there anyone that can bring actual sukh to me, that can actually bring sukhe dai, that den wala, jehda sukh den wala hove? Koi hai mainu jehda sukh den wala hega? Is there anyone that can bring sukh into my life? Prabh ki katha sunai, that is actually able to tell me about God, because they've met God themselves. There's a pete gat hoye hamari. By that I can be liberated by meeting that person. Pete means to meet. Gat means to be liberated. So parsan gopal rai kate re bandhan mae. That this is where I want to reach. Where that Gopal Rai meeting that King Vahiguruji, then pleasing that Vahiguruji, and they are to kate, to cut my bandhan, cut these bondages with that maya, with that illusion. Gur ka shabd mera man rata. That I'm able. How is that going to happen? How am I going to be able to cut this bondage of illusion from myself? The only way that's going to happen is Gur ka shabd mera man rata, when I'm actually imbued with the Guru Shabd, with the Guru's teachings. Sada sada anand petyo. Then pyareo, then sada sada anand petyo. Nirpay Govind. Then when I meet with that fearless Vahiguruji, then I'm gonna be in constant bliss. Only then when I meet with Vahiguruji. Sukh nanak lade har charan parata. Only when I find that Vahiguruji, Guru Arjun Dev Ji Paach is saying that har charan parata, when I remain in the feet of that Vahiguruji, I'll remain in constant anand. And to be in the feet of Vahiguruji, when I keep myself low, then there's no competition. I'm not trying to become better than anyone else. I'm not trying to better anyone else. When I'm remaining in the charan, there's no competition for me with anyone. So then there's no anxiety for me. There's only sukh for me. There's only then true eternal happiness and bliss for me, Sangat Jiyo, when there's no competition left for me. When I'm saying that this is, when I lie in the feet of my Guru, then I'm not looking up to get to anyone else, because this is where I want to be now. Safala pei, safala jatra. And then only in this way, with remaining in humility, remaining in the feet of God, and having no competition of wanting to better and be above somebody else, then safal pei jatra, then this jatra, then this journey of life, it will become safal, it will become of success. Jatra avan jaan rehe mile sada, that only when I meet with the true sad, when I meet with the true Guru, this avan jaan, this coming and going, will be, I'll be able to remove myself from it. Sangat Jiyo, a long Hukamnama, as we said at Ashtapadi, it was in 8 different parts, 8 bodhiyan we can call it, 8 sections. Sangat Ji, but what we've got to remember is that Jojo Juni Ayo Tehte Urjayo Manas Janam Sanjog Paya. It's not easy to get this Manas Janam. That Paach is saying it's very difficult to obtain this life. And only Manas Janam Sanjog Paya, that only when we've done something good in our last lives, we're able to actually receive this human life. And what does it mean by that? It means that what is the true human life? Sangeet, the true human life, Bhagat Kabir Ji tells us about. They say that Gur Seva te Bhagat Kamai. This is only when I earn that true devotion and I serve my Guru's word, that I follow what my Guru says, Gur Seva te Bhagat Kamai, Tab e Manas Dehi Pai, then I get to have this type of Manas Dehi. That's what it then actually means to be a human being. We might think we're a human being, but no, to actually get this life where we've actually got to meet with the Guru, we must have done something. We must have done something right and good in our last lives to be able to get this life where I'm able to sit in the feet of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, where I'm able to follow Guru Sahib Ji. Sangat Ji, so according to Guru Granth Sahib Ji's Bani, we might have the body of a human being, but actually Guru Sahib Ji doesn't class that as us being a human until we don't serve the Guru. Because until then, we could be still acting like an animal. From inside, there's an animal acting out of us. So the body is only of a human, but actually all our ways are of an animal. So we've not actually got a human life. And then in that way, Sadhguru Ji Path is saying that antarvyape lobh swan, that when there's that greedy dog constantly barking inside of us, then that in that moment when we're full of greed, in wanting more and more of something, and really thinking that if obtaining it in the first place, that I didn't feel that the satisfaction of the mind, then what makes me think if I get more of it that I'm going to be satisfied? What makes me think that if I get even more money, if I build up even more houses, what makes me think that I'm going to be satisfied then when I wasn't satisfied the last time? But then being stuck in that greed, but Guru Granth Sahib Ji's Bani saying to us, Guru Sahib Ji saying to us, actually, that's not what I class as being a human being. Actually, at the moment, just the body of a human you've got, but you're actually just like a dog. You're acting just like a dog. There's a dog barking inside of you. Every time you fall into that pit of greed, and you're willing to even cheat other people, and you're willing to then overlook helping somebody else that needs that help, but instead you are just so focused on what we can get more for ourselves. But Sangatji, during this time, during these periods, we're quite fortunate of how we start looking at what other people need, and how Sangat are actually coming together now and helping the NHS, helping the police, going and delivering hot food for them. So we start to come out of this meri, we start to come out of this mine. We start to forget about me, and we start to think about others. And in this way, when we start to serve others without having any desire of wanting any return back for it, wanting any credit from anyone, then Sangatji, then we're actually living as a human being, because then we're actually living by the Guru's word. By the Guru's word, by serving the whole of humanity. In that way, by serving the Guru's word, we serve humanity, and then we're living like a human being, and then Guru Sahib Ji recognizes us as a human being. Only when we're living like that, Guru Sahib Ji is saying that I recognize you to be a human being, and then you've done something right in your past lives to be able to get this life, that type of life, where you're living in service of Waheguru Ji, which is everything. So Sangat Jiyo, is dehi ko simre dev, so dehi paj har ki sev. And then Paj saying, is dehi ko simre, that's the body, that's the type of body where that body is serving the Guru, and that's the type of body, even the Dev, they want that type of body. Is dehi ko simre dev, they yearn to have that type of human life. Not just any human life, is dehi ko simre dev. So dehi paja har ki sev. They paja har ki sev, that are serving Waheguru Ji. So that is serving Waheguru Ji, and serving Waheguru Ji is serving humanity. So dehi paja har ki sev. Pajho Gobind, Poon mat jaho. Sing Pajho Gobind, meditate on Govind, meditate on Waheguru Ji. Pajho Gobind, Poon mat jaho. Don't forget this, that Manas Janamaka Ehi Laho, that is the whole point of this human form, is to serve Sangat Jiyo, is to find Waheguru Ji within ourselves, and then to serve that Waheguru Ji that is outside as well. So Sangat Ji, itniya ka bentiyan karniyan pravan. So because it was a long Hukamnama Sahib Ji, I didn't go off into any Sakhi, and I didn't go into too much detail today of each Bhangati, because like I said, I have set myself that golden task that I'm able to, Sangat Ji, go through each Bhangati of the Hukamnama Sahib, so that the Sangat can then understand it and then contemplate it for themselves and see what those words of Guru Sahib Ji are saying to them. And this Hukamnama is all about having that yearning inside, having that yearning inside that, is there anyone that will help me to unite with Waheguru Ji? Uniting with Waheguru Ji, we will actually experience bliss. And Sangat Ji, when we're in bliss ourselves, that's all that we will have to spread out and give to others. We will then effortlessly will be giving that, will be spreading that bliss out to others as well when we have found it. Only by meeting Waheguru Ji can we actually be happy eternally. And let's all be that human being that Guru Granth Sahib Ji recognizes to be a human being. Waheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji ki Fateh.